Greetings, you weirdos whose peculiarities are becoming increasingly apparent. I am Skeletor, and this is SkeleTalk, the series where I willingly subject myself to all manner of irritation and inconvenience. Shh, it's the internet's best kept secret. Once again, my inbox is full of your guff and nonsense, so there will be no delay and we will start immediately. Before we start, I must tell you that because we are pressed for time, Skele-Tiny will not be appearing this week to ask you any questions.
Oh, Skeletor, I wanted to ask Thompson Hereford Farm a question about cows.
No, we don't have time for cow questions.
And I was going to point out that last week you misread H.P. Bifter's question, and that he was asking about minced minions, not minced onions.
Shut up! Nobody noticed.
They did notice.
Shut up better, and get out of my sight before I beat you to a degree commensurate with your smaller stature.
Yes, Skeletor.
Idiot. That's cost me 30 seconds, and I had a fart in the chamber, which has now retreated into my tummy tubes. Whiplash, God help you if you don't bring up the first question.
Yes, Skeletor, here it is. It's one from K-Dog about monkeys.
K-Dog is asking me to name my favourite song mentioning monkeys. Aha, well that would be Too Much Monkey Business by Chuck Berry. Also, Whiplash missed K-Dog's question from last week, which was, what's your favourite middle filling in cake and what's the best ice cream to go with it? I would choose a buttercream and a butterscotch. I realise these answers are not entertaining, so let's look again at the fighting squirrels from last week. Thanks. Reading Movies writes, when Vader is hit by Force lightning in Return of the Jedi, we see his skull for a brief second. What would happen if you were hit square in the face by the Emperor's Force lightning? Well, first I would soil myself comprehensively. Then I would wait for my fillings to melt while simultaneously developing a powerful tumescence and an erection. Following these events, my focus would be entirely upon kicking the shit out of an old man in a dress. Yeah, thanks, Lewis. Jason Raphael Murdoch asks, if Doctor Who was being made into a movie, who would you like to see playing the character? Well, I'm afraid I could not care less. Perhaps the role could be offered to an ingrowing toenail, or a mushroom on a tree.
Skeletor!
What? Whiplash and Spirit of Whiplash and Spirit of Whiplash.
That response was very dismissive.
I know that response was very dismissive. Whiplash and Spirit of Whiplash and Spirit of Whiplash. I like being very dismissive. It's consistent with my character. Spirits dematerialize.
Yes, Skeletor.
Whiplash, return to your post.
Yes, Skeletor.
Thanks, Jason. Who would you like to see as Doctor Who? Cat ASMR asks, if you wrote a movie, what would you name it? What would it be about? Which genre would it be? And who would star in it? The movie would be called Horse Ninja, and it would be about a freelance horse ninja and his daring adventures. It would be an action thriller, and it would star Jimmy Horse in the title role. I actually write at least one movie a week. For example, last week I wrote Sheep Soldier, which is the story of a tenacious war sheep. Thanks, Kat. Mike Cannelloni asks if Scareglow is my ghost, created in the same manner as the spirits of Whiplash. No, Scareglow is the ruler of Subternia, and is a separate entity. I summoned him to this dimension to serve me and do my bidding. And at the moment, he's cleaning the bathroom. Thanks, Mike. Stephen Gray wants to know my favourite piece of equipment in a standard Helix stationary set. Well, with the exception of the ruler, the items are all easily thrown at the back of a teacher's head. And I would choose the stabby circle maker, as it is the heaviest. Thanks, Stephen. Daniel questions Heron is, if you had to eat Eva Green's pork chops for dinner, would you cover them with A1, HP, or a Wendy's Frosty? I'm not sure if you mean chops that she has prepared or chops actually taken from her person. One of these scenarios cannot be discussed on this platform, but I do suggest that HP sauce is seldom the wrong choice. Thanks, Daniel. New contributor iCast writes too many questions, but I shall allow them all for reasons that will be immediately apparent. Icast asks, what is the reason behind your special interest in equines? Do you follow racing events or ride yourself? What breed of horse do you most fancy, and for what reason? And who is your favourite My Little Pony? Well, I like horses because they look funny when they smile. I do not enjoy or support any type of competitive horse running, or horse jumping, or horse dancing, but I do enjoy horse riding, if the particular horse is agreeable to this. My favourite breed is the Shire horse, because they are fucking massive, but I do not fancy them, you weirdo. Here's a nice one, photographed by Titty Paulson. As for My Little Ponies, my favourite is Applejack, or Lemon Drop. Thank you for the questions, and welcome to the channel. Andrew asks, if you could order Mattel around, which character would get a reissue? I'd like to see Shadow Weaver on an Origins card back, but this seems unlikely given the unique sculpt. The Masterverse figure is pretty good though. Thanks, Andrew. General Stephen Jones of the Expansion Division asks, what does Taylor Swift have in her purse? Good question. The contents vary on a daily basis, but some items are on heavy rotation. Today, her purse contains a photograph of a water tower, a drawing of a mandrill, an essay on billboards throughout the ages, a collection of magnifying glasses, a bag of strawberry pig gummies, and the glass from a broken wing mirror. Thank you, General. The Fly Attractor fears the upcoming spring allergy season and is contemplating having his face and sinuses removed with acid. Fly would like a recommendation on the type of acid to use and asks which entity or wizard with which to enter a Faustian deal to survive the procedure. There are many acids that will serve your purpose, such as sulfuric, hydrochloric or muriatic, hydrofluoric, or even nitric acid. However, these will all cause significant damage to your skull bone, so be sure to rinse your head thoroughly with water once your face has come off. As for your recovery and immortalization, I'm afraid I would have to recommend asking Hordak. He is a twat, but he can achieve desirable results. Please do not tell him I sent you. Good luck, Fly. The Wire wants to know what I think about Jared Leto being cast to play me in next year's live-action Motu movie. I think this is a stupid idea. Bill Skarsgård is the only sensible choice, in my opinion. Or Spotty from Super Ted. Thanks. Ben, astutely fails to clarify my answer from last week with the following. Like a caged bird not singing, crying not flying over spilt Tipex, self-censored with hydrocarbons, head birdily buried like a flamboyantly feathered Sesame Street character, what's it all about, Alfie? I am not Alfie, but I do follow the thrust of your question. And yes, lettuce is soporific, as it contains lactocarium, which has mild sedative and analgesic properties. Wild, or furious lettuces contain the most lactocarium, but will need to be ingested in large quantities if your tired animal is bigger than a box. Thanks, Ben. Crazy Cat Lady Jojo asks unrelated questions, which I shall reluctantly allow. Firstly, will everyone be getting a name graphic? No, only those whose names lend themselves to a silly combination of images which amuse me. For example, with John Smith, I can do nothing, but Johnny Smith would likely receive this graphic. Jojo then asks, what's the difference between stew, casserole, and hot pot? Good question. A stew is typically cooked on a stovetop with the heat applied from the bottom, whereas a casserole is baked in the oven with heat on all sides and has less liquid than a stew. A hot pot is a bit more involved, and I don't want to talk about this anymore. But thank you. Paul Wilson wants to know if I've always been evil, and also asks a question about a hamster that unfortunately suggests an act that I cannot safely describe on this platform. Yes, Paul, I have always been evil. The moment I was born, I farted directly into the mouth of the midwife, and my second noise was a laugh. I was also poking people in their eyes before I could walk, and I am now very good at it. Thanks for the question. Alex James asks if I used to be the manager of the progressive metal band Born of Osiris. No, Alex, you are way off. I was their publicist. A follow-up comment from Icasticasticast suggests I may have collaborated with death metal band Nile on one of their singles, which is true. I threw several handfuls of mustard seeds all over the carpet in their recording studio to give them something to be angry about. And this really comes across on the track. Thank you both. Retro Toy Guy Sai provides the final questions this week. He asks, Sooty, Sweep or Sue? Which one was a secret KGB operative? And is it true that George, Zippy and Bungle were MI5 agents tasked with bringing the Sooty Show spy to justice? Also, which of the Rainbow cast would make the best James Bond? Well, the KGB agent was that little bitch Sue, but the MI5 assets were in fact Rod, Jane and Freddy, who were unable to uncover enough evidence against that nasty panda. As for becoming 007, George is the only sensible option. So, once again, the show is whining and scratching at the back door, desperate to be let out. If you enjoyed the show, why not give it a thumbs up and share it on your socials? Do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to leave some absurd interrogative waffle in the comments. Okay, I'm off to write another screenplay, and I would love it if you would all get out of my sight before I beat you.
I am an appetite.